Welcome to the opposition. Leeds fans, this show is all about you. This weekend, Cherries travel up to Elland Road and Bournemouth have got a score to settle. We've never won there. We've not gained so much as a point. In this show, we're going to analyse Leeds' maybe underwhelming to some transfer window. We'll look at how they started the season, plus we'll discuss their chances of survival and whisper it, they could stay up. Tom Jordan's with me. How are you, Tom?
Yes, very well, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very good. Looking forward to this one, and it's a big game. Big for them because they've got an unbeaten home record that they want to maintain, but big for us because we should be getting a result, maybe.
We're getting to that stage, aren't we? And that's not in a disrespectful way to Leeds at all. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. Obviously, we've kind of established ourselves now, and we're almost knocking on doors of kind of Europe and stuff, or like top 10 at least. I think people look at us as kind of a side that should be looking at the top 10 quite consistently. So a promoted club, you've got to be looking to try and win. But as you say, mate, the omens, we spoke in our last game about how Newcastle have got this weird thing, can't seem to beat us. So we've got to be fair. We really struggled against Leeds, especially at Elland Road. And I even remember, you know, because you talk a lot of the time and go, okay, go back historically, and Leeds have always been bigger and better than us.
Yeah.
So it was always, when I went there the first few times, I never expected to get anything. But we won the league in the Championship, and they've done the double on us.
Yeah,
so they've got this little thing over us. So yeah, a bit of a score to settle, mate. And as you say, if we want to be pushing on, we got to go to tough places like Elland Road and try and come away with all three.
Well, this is part one of a preview double header on Back of the Net. We've got another video coming out tomorrow that provides a Bournemouth-based focus. We're going to be chatting about how Bournemouth fans have struggled to forgive Leeds for some problems back in the 90s. Some Bournemouth fans, we've got to say. But this half hour, it's all dedicated to talking about the opposition. So look, Leeds fans, if you're watching and you want to be alerted as to future content, because we've got fan cams, we've got a vlog, we've got a second look, we've got international fan opinion. There's a couple of things you can do, right?
Yeah, make sure you click the bell. That always notifies you of when videos are out. Click the like while you're there because you like us and that's Leeds. But just because you think, actually, you know what, they're all right, them too. Give that a little like and then whack a little subscribe on there as well. Because listen, you're going to stay in the Premier League with us, so you want to have all that content for Premier League clubs. So yeah, really appreciate if you do that.
If you're listening to our audio version on Spotify, just stay where you are because that is going to be coming to your ears very, very soon. As you can see, we're at Q Sports Bar in Boscombe, the place to be for pool, snooker, darts and live sport on the TV. And look, for Leeds fans, when you come down here in April, this place is for you because it's dedicated to away fans. It's well handy to get to. 10-minute walk from Folkestone Station, only 5 minutes to the Vitality as well. Live sport on the TV, good food menu as well. And if you sign up as a member at qsports.bar, hit the membership link top right, fill in your details, including your address. You'll get a QR code, show it to the bar staff. They will then know that you are a member and you can get discounted drinks, pool, all that good stuff. And we've been here a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, no, I like it, mate. It's really cool. The setup's really nice as well. And yeah, I'm getting into pool a little bit more. I'm starting to get my eye in a bit, but I'm more of a darts man. The darts boards are great, but yeah, there's so much here. American pool, and I still don't know the difference, mate.
We'll work it out. There's a big Oktoberfest drinking area right at the back there with live TV there as well, showing the sport. So it's a great place to come before the game. But look, it's not just on match day. Come during the week as well. That's Cherries fans, of course, as well, showing all the live football and a hell of a lot more. Q Sports is the place to be. So it's a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff then for our first match this season against some Premier League newcomers this season. This is their third time, of course, in the Premier League. We've never beaten or even drawn against Leeds at Elland Road in our 8 visits to the ground. 7 were in the league, 1 was back in the FA Cup. If you watch on YouTube, we're showing our head-to-head. It ain't pretty. They've got a good record against us in the league. Also, their home record is pretty good, unbeaten in 22 league games. The caveat, Tom, is the fact that 20 of those games did happen to be in the Championship where they ran away with it.
Yeah, they did look, they were always going to be strong at home in the Championship. But yeah, they've started this season pretty well as well. And I think historically, even I've always felt that they're a good side at Elland Road, mate. I think it almost felt like the closest we come was the last time we were there, wasn't it? Where I don't know, we threw it away a little bit, but fair play to them. I almost did feel like in that game, if you can't remember, was it 4-3? It was a final score, wasn't it? 4-3 to Leeds in that last game of that. And it almost felt like 2 or 3-1 up. They started coming back into the game. It was like the Leeds fans dragged them over the line. And they are very, very good at home. So, yeah, going to be a difficult one, mate. But you know what? Little omens and little records. They're there to be broke, mate. They're there to be smashed. And that's what everybody does.
They absolutely are. And look, I'm traumatised by that game still. Yeah. I know that they took the lead from the penalty spot, but then we went back 2-1 up. I think Kiefer Moore missed a golden chance to make it 3-1. We did make it 3-1 after half-time through Dom Solanke with a lovely flicked goal, but then it seemed like momentum swang. And then, of course, they got one back, they equalised, and then it was Crescencio Somerville that got the winner. And you sense you don't want to give their fans anything when you're at Elland Road, because I'm not being funny, that is probably up there with Everton when they beat us when they needed to. Probably the loudest I've ever heard a stadium.
Yeah, you don't want to give them anything. And once we got that cushion, like you say, that 3-1, you think that's what you want. You want to quiet the crowd a little bit. You're away from home, 3-1 up. And I think that Sam Greenwood was absolutely worldy to make it 3-2. And that kind of lifted them a bit. And then let's be real, it was under 1-0. We were in a little bit of we were a bit fragile. Yeah. So I felt like as soon as the crowd got on them, and then they started having a little mini comeback, we sank a little bit. And I like to think that's not the side we are anymore. But yeah, credit to Leeds on the day. They were brilliant.
Do you remember what happened at full time, Tom?
No.
Because I put you on fan cams. Yeah, we were outside the away end, and you were chatting to Matt and Davies, and something happened that led to you being in the newspaper. Look, it's probably not good that we explain it. What we will do is let Leeds fans explain it themselves, courtesy of our friends at the Square Ball, and we made their propaganda show.
Back in the net. We'll start on Fireworks Man, because this is the bit everyone will have already seen from this channel. It's a very well produced channel, I have to say. They've got absolutely tons of stuff out from this game. It's all very nicely done
for a club like Bournemouth.
It's really quite a good effort. But yeah, this is Fireworks Man, who's outside the south stand or west stand after the game.
Is it the mentality of the players? Because we didn't change much and we scored in the second half. So, Fireworks, by the way, at Leeds for beating Bournemouth 4-3. Massive club.
Yeah, a lot of people jumped on that thinking that he'd not realised it was bonfire night. I think he was just being sarcastic, wasn't he?
Well, the irony being that he was absolutely right, because the guy who was setting those fireworks off was in the paper. He said they were having, they had the game on, and they started timing the fireworks to go after every goal. And so at 3-3, he knew, he just had that feeling that
get a rocket in the bucket.
Yeah, he said, right, get another one ready. And so he timed it as soon as we conceded, and then he'd saved up the biggest one to celebrate a win.
And Tom, unfortunately, the context there provided by the Square Ball wasn't picked up by a lot of people, especially when the Daily Star jumped on it and you became famous, Tom, and people were retweeting. You realised it was bonfire night, right? You realised? I hope you did.
I don't expect everyone to go back and have to do this, but if you actually went on the vlog, they did. If it was half-time, I think at half-time in the game, I talk about it being bonfire night. Just like, obviously I knew it was bonfire night. I think it's weird, them sort of things, because there was a group of us like recording, so to them, it's obvious I'm being sarcastic. When you clip it up like that, I don't sound sarcastic. I mean, I genuinely was. But it was nice. I was happy to get on the propaganda. I like that show, actually. Yeah. So, it was all in good jest. But, yeah, it was funny.
It wasn't just us that suggested that as well. There was a tweet from NBC Soccer that people can see on screen if you're watching on YouTube that also suggested that fireworks were related to the match itself. Look, there were fireworks probably back in, 1992 as well, because that's when Leeds were first in the Premier League. And, of course, this was when it was formed with Howard Wilkinson as manager, and they stayed in the Premier League for 12 seasons before getting relegated in the 2003-04 season. Of course, they came back up for 3 seasons in 2020, and we'll speak a little about this, I'm sure, on the subsequent video. But one of the games that we had against them was pretty much nail in the coffin, wasn't it? 4-1 win.
Yes, it was. I think, like you say, I think they were struggling at the time, but that win seemed to really kill them off. And yeah, we've had, as we said about the record, there's been a few at home that we've had some really good wins. Like you say, that 4-1 was impressive. But yeah, they stayed up for a few seasons, then it just kind of petered out a little bit, didn't it? But always nice to be at home. I just hope we can get something at Elland Road, mate.
So, of course, they were relegated to the Championship, but they made the playoff final in the subsequent season. And look, Leeds fans, we're going to level with you. Myself and Tom, we got together at the Queen's Park Hotel, which is the home of AFC Bournemouth Sports on a match day. And we did a video who do we want to get promoted? Because obviously, look, there's a little bit of needle maybe with Leeds fans because of 1990 and all that. Check your history, but I'll watch tomorrow to find out more about that. But also Saints, because they're our local big rivals. Huge South Coast derby.
Yeah, it's not
huge.
Yeah.
And we I think wrote down some scores for 17 different criteria, and we scored each one, and it ranged from the fans, the travel, the song repertoire, what they're like in person, all that kind of stuff. And you know what the final score was? We wanted Leeds to go up. It was 23 points to 20. So look, we were all for you getting promoted, but then was it Adam Armstrong who scored?
It might have been, yeah. I think you might be right. It was only 1-0, wasn't it?
It was only 1-0, yeah.
But yeah, it was a weird one because, you know, we'll get level with you. I don't rarely want Leeds or Southampton to win. I didn't want either of them to come up that season. But I did personally. I wanted Leeds to beat Southampton that day. But
and also when we lose, the views are better.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. But and to be fair, it's a lot further to go, Leeds. There was obviously loads of factors. You can go back and watch that. But it was good fun. To be fair, I remember fancying Leeds, but on the actual day, I'm sure Leeds fans will remember more than me, but watching it, I just felt like Leeds didn't turn up in the final, which was really, surprising actually.
So it would have been pleasing for Daniel Farke to have secured promotion the subsequent season, and boy, did they do it in style. It was Leeds and Burnley that actually both finished on a ton, 100 points in, and it went down to the final day in terms of who takes the crown, doesn't it? But I think they both got a result. Therefore, Leeds, with their superior goal difference, made sure the championship title was theirs, and
shows how many goals they scored as well, mate. Because
my God, they really did.
If you remember Burnley, they barely conceded a bloody goal last season. So to have a better goal difference but I know Burnley, a lot of them were like kind of 1-0 wins, but Scotty P on it. But Leeds blew some teams away that season. So yeah, I was not surprised to see them bounce back, and it's difficult sometimes when you lose that playoff final to go again, but they did it impressively.
So 5 games in, how are they doing? The league table suggests that they're doing all right. They are in 12th place on 7 points. And when you look at it, I mean, all of the promoted sides are in a pretty good place. So what does that mean for who is going to go down? You know what? I'll let you into a bit of a secret. Yeah. On Just Joe, I'm going to be on his preview show on Joe's channel. I was at some William Hill content creator thing before this, and he asked me for some hot takes. One of mine wasn't good because it was about Everton going down. But that was pre-Grealish and all that kind of stuff. But I did say that I do sense that 2 out of 3 of the promoted sides will actually stay up. And I mean, it could be 3 out of 3. I think Burnley might dip. But do you sometimes feel? I don't know about you, but like the size of a club sort of dictates that they've just got more chance. If that makes any sense. I know what you mean.
I think because I was struggling until I thought because it's happened so much recently. I think the 3 teams that come up are going to really struggle again. I think what I've noticed quite quickly is, and this is no disrespect to Burnley, but the reason I probably would go, I think Burnley still will and the other 2 won't, is because you don't get the same. If we were going to Burnley away, I'd go, you've got to be winning that. Yeah. Leeds and Sunderland, I think a lot of teams will go, take a point, get out. Yeah. And I think their home form is going to really help them. Yeah, massively. It's different. It's no disrespect again, because like they've won the Premier League, but Leicester who went down. Yeah. It's not the same going to Leicester as it is going to Elland Road. 100%. So I think they've got to use that. And Leeds and Sunderland, to be fair, do always use that to their advantage. And obviously it's a small sample size, but they haven't even this season, they haven't conceded a goal yet at home. We've seen that a lot of people are talking about, Everton look quite good this season, and Grealish, they beat them 1-0. Newcastle, obviously, we've just played and they got the same result, 0-0. So, and obviously they've had a decent win on the road as well. So yeah, I think they're finding their feet quite quick. I'm kind of glad we're getting them now before they get into a little bit more of a rhythm, actually. Yeah. I suppose it's the same, but sort of opposite in that we know that they're a big club, therefore we are maybe thinking that it's not going to be as easy as it should be, but they're also probably looking at us as a smaller club, thinking we should probably get a result here. Yeah, I do think we get that a lot as people. Even though we're 4th in the Premier League. I appreciate it, but a lot of people do Wolves haven't got a point yet, for example. They would have looked at Bournemouth. Yeah. But you'd think, really, Bournemouth are a lot better than Wolves. Yeah. But it is weird because of, like you say, the size of us and etc. But we've literally only lost to Liverpool and we gave them a scare. So we're quite good at football. We're quite good. Let's check out Leeds' transfer activity then. We'll start with the departures. A fair few a fair bit of churn, let's say that. But any big names? No real kind of like big transfers went out, which I think they would have probably been happy with. You don't want to go up and then lose a big player. I think Who was it went? Christensen went, didn't he? And Junior Firpo I quite like, but he ended up being out of contract. Yeah, they lost a few. I was surprised that Matteo Joseph went out on loan, but then maybe he wasn't quite hit the guy. He didn't think he was probably ready to go again in the Premier League. Yeah, I think with Bamford, there's actually been a few murmurs because he's without a club of maybe Sheffield United with Wilder going back there trying to get him and stuff. But and obviously the end of Joe Rothwell's loan.
Oh yes, of course.
There's that, which annoyed me. There's that little. He held up the. What did it say? Leeds are falling apart and all that stuff. He was getting right into it. I think they quite liked him. He had a good spell in the Championship. But we've seen him before. We quite like him. But has he got the legs maybe for a Premier League campaign? Not sure. He obviously went out to Rangers, didn't he?
What about the players through the door then, mate? Because they got a few. I've got to say, though, on transfer deadline day, just monitoring a few Leeds United tweets, and there were a few fans that were concerned and were maybe underwhelmed at the business. You know, sort of wanted another couple of signings at the end. But what they have done is they've got Sean Longstaff came from Newcastle, and he brings with him Premier League experience. Who else they got?
Well, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was obviously, I think, obviously a free transfer was a difficult one because it's all injuries with Calvert-Lewin. That's what you worry about. If you keep him relatively fit, you're not going to keep him fit for the whole season. I'll be shocked.
He scored from the season.
He's already scored. He is a handful. You forget how good he was and was getting on the England door. It's just injuries. I think James Justin's quite a shrewd signing, really, quite a good fullback. Obviously, they've got the goalkeeper Perry as well. Okafor, I've heard good things about. I haven't seen a lot of them, but you're getting a winger from AC Milan. The one that's impressed me is Stack. He's looked really good. Set pieces, very good. He can hit a ball, but he seems to be everywhere. He's been the one that's impressed me, and I'm sure Leeds fans will agree. He seems to be the one that started the season really well and just hit the ground running, basically.
Right, so Tom, talk me through the results so far then, because it started off very well, and I think they would have fancied their chances against Everton. Maybe teams won't so much now, knowing that they've actually done pretty well in the league, but a solid 1-0 win to start their campaign. Yeah,
I think from Everton's perspective, you don't want to go Elland Road on the first day. They're going to be rocking, and they've got the job done, and as you say, the way Everton look now, it looks a better result than maybe it did at the time. Then they did take a beating off Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal can do that to you if they get going, and they had a little bit too much quality. The weird one was the Cup, actually, because Sheffield Wednesday are in an awful place, and honestly I was like, that's going to be the banker of the day, and they lost on penalties to Sheffield Wednesday. I don't think they'll be that bothered about that. I saw, I watched the other night, Burnley losing at home to. Who did they lose at home to? They lost a silly game. Cardiff.
Yeah, Cardiff. Yeah,
that's right. But you could tell when Scott Parker did it with us and bought, they kind of don't really want to be in it. So I kind of get that. I thought the draw against Newcastle was pretty impressive at home because I don't think it was a draw where Newcastle were banging on the door. I thought Leeds played pretty well in that game.
Defensively solid. Yeah,
the goal difference stuff, the anomaly is the Arsenal game. But really, if you take that away, they look pretty solid. As you say, I think the Fulham one was harsh. It was late. They looked like they were going to hang on, but so...
And that would have been a good point.
Been a great point. And then go to Wolves, I thought Wolves will definitely be looking at that and going, right, this is where we kick our season on, and they went ahead as well, and then Leeds blew them away, mate, especially, that part of the first half, they really got going. So, I think they'd have taken that, I think. Real steady start.
Well, after 3 goalless Premier League games, Leeds, of course, 3-1 against Wolves, like we saw. The Whites last netted 3+ goals in back-to-back top-flight games in November 2022, one of which was at home against AFC Bournemouth. The other one was a 4-3 loss against Wolves. And you know what? I was just thinking about that game at Leeds United, actually, the one that we lost 4-3. We were all smarting after the previous week because we were 2-0 up at home against Spurs, and then we lost that 3-2, and we were like, this is not going our way this season, is it?
Yes, we were having a bit of a time. Oh my God! Hang on, it was when we looked like we were in serious trouble. We managed to sort ourselves out, but we had a real spell, didn't we? I just couldn't hold on to Leeds, and we just kept, And as we spoke about earlier, it was as soon as Elland Road got going and they got back into the game, we did crumble a little bit, and they took advantage. Fair play.
Bournemouth and Leeds, we've had a number of close links over the years, I suppose, in terms of personnel, those joining us, those joining them, but also some close shaves managerial-wise as well. So let's go Lewis Cook.
Lewis Cook,
he was there a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think for Leeds fans that don't know, he's had a bit of a knock. He hadn't really kicked on this. He's only literally made one sub appearance, so be surprised if you see him. But I think they still love him. He was brilliant there, wasn't he? And we love him as well. And next one, I'm not sure.
Tyler Adams, what's your opinion, Leeds fans? Let us know in the comments. But I'm gathering not good.
Don't think he's going to get a good reception. And to be fair, obviously we love him there. He's brilliant. But I appreciate the way he left and stuff when he went down one. Great. But Luis Sinisterra has just left us.
And you know what? They were warning us. And I think it was another signing that we made that left them smarting. But they were saying, watch out for his injury record. Leeds fans, you were right.
They were right, mate. He was literally good player, like I say, really good player. Never fit.
He scored some crucial goals for us.
He did, but literally never fit. So yeah, and at the time we bought in Sinisterra and gave them Jane Anthony on loan. Yeah. And Jane Anthony is now the top scoring Englishman in the Premier League.
You're joking.
And we spent over 20 on Sinisterra, and he was like 9 million we got for Jane Anthony. So that was one that didn't go our way.
You mentioned Joe Rothwell, of course.
Yes.
There was one that it was widely reported, incorrectly, according to Chris Reeve from Talk Norwich City, that Max Aarons was having a medical at Elland Road before he did a swift U-turn, stormed out, and then drove down to Dean Court to sign for the mighty Cherries. It didn't quite work out that way, but that's another player that nearly
went to Leeds.
Was with another person that was nearly wooed by Leeds was Andoni Iraola, but for the fact that Leeds probably came in a little bit too early, if anything, because Andoni Iraola, he always sees out a contract. And look, as a, what's the phrase? A disciple of Bielsa, who of course Leeds know very well. Leeds wanted him, but he come to little old Bournemouth.
Yeah, there's definitely, you could see why they were linked with him now that we've had Iraola for a while, because you go, oh yeah, he's got the Bielsa's about him in terms of the style of football. It is very rock and roll, and it's very intense, high pressing, etc., which they obviously have with Bielsa. So yeah, I could see that link, but I'm glad we were the ones who got him, I must say.
There are some similarities, again, though, between Bournemouth and Leeds in terms of, when I just reel off some stats for you, right? 2 home games. They played Everton, 21 shots, 3 on target. Against Newcastle, 10 shots, just 1 on target. So they're not as clinical as they probably should be. Where they do probably thrive, though, is how solid they are at the back. Probably don't have the quality they want going forward, but look at some of the average positions that you're seeing on screen. Very defensive, Tom, very
defensive. Look to counter-attack, which, you look at their team, and obviously we'll come on to their lineup, and you look at it, and that's the way they've got to go. I think at home they'll try and get us a little bit more, but they'd be silly to not play counter attack, especially the opposition they played as well. They played some tough games, so yeah, I always felt they'd be a little bit more of a counter attacking team. And like you say, apart from that anomaly of Arsenal, they've looked like a pretty tough nut to crack, mate.
They've accumulated just over 2 XG from open play for the entire season so far. But look, we know that whilst they may be brilliant in defence, we have a problem with breaking down teams of a certain low block calibre. So how is this one going to go? Only Newcastle, by the way, have faced fewer shots in the Premier League so far than Bournemouth. So it does suggest that our defence is also pretty good. But against Newcastle, Brighton to some extent, it was a tale of 2 defences. Whilst you could say that about this game, I don't know. I just feel it's going to be a little bit more open, especially than the Newcastle game.
Yeah, I do agree.
And it's because they're at home as well.
Yes, I think that we will try and flex ourselves and go there and go, look, we're an attacking side, we want to play on the front foot, let's go and win the game. And I don't think Leeds will sit back, but like you say, at home. And and as we kind of alluded to earlier, Leeds will be going, Bournemouth at home, there's a chance to get some points on the board. They're not going to sit there. No. I don't think so. Like you said, I think it's got it feels like it could have a bit about it, this game. It could be a little bit end to end. We'll see. But I don't think they won't be full throttle, but I certainly think they'll have a go at us.
Right, let's have a look at the Leeds team news then, taking a look at premierinjuries.com, and we know that, is it Gonto? How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Nonto.
Yeah, Nonto, yeah. Daniel James, they've all been out injured, however, they are being assessed, so they could be available. Yeah. Jayden Bogle also...
I think Bogle should be all right.
Yeah, he went off injured against Wolves, but likelihood is that he'll be back. You mentioned players to watch. I mean, you've talked about Stack.
Yeah.
But also, Ethan Ampadu.
He's very underrated.
Underrated, but not just that. Since the start of last season, Leeds have won 72% of their league games with him starting, compared to only 45% without him.
He was one that I remember him being at Sheffield United. And I remember when they were struggling, so he was one that I thought, seen a few times at Wales as well. And he was obviously a long time ago was Chelsea, and he could play that defensive midfield role, but also play at the back. And there was a few times where I thought, I wouldn't mind having a little sniff at him. And obviously Leeds got him, and I think he's been brilliant. He is certainly one that he's one of them players that goes under the radar a little bit and keeps them ticking very nicely. So yeah, think of him in there and probably stacking there. It's it's a pretty good midfield. So Tyler Adams will have his work cut out.
Certainly will. Right, let's do our Leeds team prediction then. Come on. Right, we'll do our Bournemouth team on the next show, but for now, let's go Leeds. What are you going for then, mate? 4-3-3 by the looks of it.
Yeah, and obviously they've done really well at Wolves, so they're not going to chuck loads of stuff any different, I don't think. Darlow's going to have to continue in goal by the looks of it. He's done okay, to be fair. I'm going to say Bogle's going to play at right back.
Sorry, what did happen to Melier?
I'm not even sure what happened to him. I mean, he wasn't good enough.
He made errors week in, week out, didn't he?
He did go, I think.
Did he go?
Yeah. He's either that or he was like number 3 or something, I don't know. But
I'll have a look whilst you're
talking.
talking.
Yeah, but Perry obviously was the one they brought in who's injured. But Darlow's done all right. And yeah, I'm going to stick with Bogle at right back. I think he's going to be okay for this one. I'm going to go Roland and Struik. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, 100%. And Gudmundsson, who's a new sign at left back, who looks pretty decent as well. Stack, Ampadu and Longstaff in the midfield, which I think is a pretty solid midfield three. Aronson and Okafor off either side, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front, mate. That's what I'm going to go with. Did you find out about Melier?
Still there.
He is
still there. So praying for an injury for Darlow and then whack him in. We always love a cheeky error.
He's just too many errors. And they always look bad, don't they?
Like proper bloopers, like you've been framed moments, not just ones where he's positioned, like some real bad moments.
Yeah, get him in.
You're probably wondering about our predictions. Well, hold on to the next show because we will make sure we get them in there. But we are truly looking forward to this. One thing we're not looking forward to is what's the away pub situation like? It used to be the Dry Salt, was closed down. So we don't know where we're going yet. If you've got any recommendations, put them in the comments, Leeds fans, for where is okay for away supporters, because we haven't got a clue.
I ain't got a clue, because I think, like you say, that pub, and obviously it was a fair while ago, but I'm pretty sure we were the last team to get that away pub, and then it closed very quickly after. And then obviously we didn't have to think about it too much because obviously they went down, but now they're back. I don't know what the pub is. We need the pub.
We need the pub. Look, we're travelling up for this one, and we cannot wait for it. Make sure you do those couple of things like Tom said. Tomorrow there is another show where we'll touch on the history between Bournemouth and Leeds, but we will take a Cherries focus as we go into some team news and also predict the team as well. We cannot wait. Up those Cherries. Come on.
Oh, that firework figure always gets me every time.
Your Daily Star, mate. The bastion of English
So
journalism.
glad we're not in November again.